I thank you for joining me today on this little video of the removal of a manual versus automatic transmission. I may just oh, that's great. That's exactly what we want. I got everything apart. Hey, look, another bolt. If you liked today's video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up.
Quit laying on the floor.
Hell, if you like the channel, make sure to give it a subscribe. That way you stay up to date with everything. If you got a good name for this car, I'd like to hear it. Please comment below. Hey, thanks for coming to the channel. My name's MechGuyver. This is my 3rd Gen Prelude, and we're going to do a restoration on this car. In the first installment, Steveland and I pulled the engine out. As you can see, there's nothing in the bay here. Here's the engine and transmission. We're going to start by pulling the transmission off of this engine, assessing whether the clutch is any good or not. In the first installment, like I spoke about, this car sat in my yard for the better part of a decade. It's rather astonishing we got this engine out without any broken bolts. I used penetrating oil, I think 3 times, just as a precaution, and ended up quitting. I've already removed the dust shield, the T-bracket that goes on the back of the engine. Don't lose the bolts. And the half shaft to make this a little quicker and easier. So we are going to remove the transmission bolts. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Should be 7, but of course we're missing one. And that's including the starter bolts. So we'll bust these free. Whoa, that one was already loose. And that one, ugh, super tight. Jeez. I believe I've got all the bolts out now. We should be clear for takeoff. Oh. Oh, I'm probably going to have to get a wooden block or two. Now let's see if we can't shake this thing free. Ha-ha! That was close. Well, we got to save this transmission because this has to go back in the car.
Jeez, she's heavy. And greasy.
Yeah. Alright, I'm sure this clutch is shot. Trains is off. Now it's time to take off the clutch, see if this thing's any good. I may or may not get lucky here. Who knows? The complaint wasn't that the clutch was bad. It was that the timing belt snapped. So we're going to see what happens here. My finger. And I think that's all of them. Well, let's see what this thing looks like. Woof. That's actually, I mean, the pressure plate, the flywheel don't look too healthy. You can see there's quite a bit of spotting, hot spots and stuff all over. Clutch disc, however, doesn't look too bad. Not the greatest, but not too shabby. There's a little material left there. All in all, this thing don't look too bad. Oh man, there it is. Oh yeah. You know, that might just be from it sitting. Of course, now I touched it with my greasy fingers, but heck, I think we'll see if we can run this thing. I'm a little worried about that flywheel though. Got our replacement engine here. It's an automatic, unfortunately. Our chassis is a 5-speed chassis, so we're going to have to pull this automatic transmission off. It's a little bit different than doing a manual. As you saw, you just kind of unbolt the manual, wiggle it off, and ta-da! Then you unbolt the clutch. This is, as I said, just a touch different. You can see down here there's little bolt holes where you unbolt the flex plate in the engine. Of course, this thing's gonna give me fits. This time around, here you can see one of our bolts we got to take out. Nice and easy. Slide it around again. We got another one. Ugh. So I'm going to keep turning this around, and I'm going to get all these flex plate bolts off, so the flex plate and the torque converter are separated, and then I can work on separating the engine and the transmission themselves. Alright, I've got our last flex plate bolt out. You can see, made it all the way around. It's not exactly loose yet, but it's getting there. Got to get this bracket off, a few miscellaneous items, starter, and then we can now take the transmission off of my replacement engine and start to figure out whether this thing's even worth putting in the car or if I have to rebuild it. Hopefully it's just like maybe valves or something just need relapped, some seals. Really hope it's not just like that thing where it needs a full rebuild. I just love when junkyards cut out engines. This was a perfectly good T-bracket until they came along. Just torched that thing right off. Ruined a good part for a classic car. I went through and loosened all the trans bolts, and we're going to take them out and see if we can't get this baby off of here. So let's see.
Where are you hiding?
That's, of course, I forgot one. Oh, that's great. That's exactly what we want. Let's try this again. Now I've got them all loose. Alright, I got the bolts out. I got everything apart. Hey, look, another bolt. Joy. Get all the trans bolts out. I got everything out of the way. Flex plates unbolted from the torque converter. We should theoretically be able to just wiggle this thing off now. So hopefully that'll happen. And I think we're separated. Oh yeah.
Quit laying on the floor.
Well, it's apart. Of course, like I was saying before my camera died. Finally got this here greasy, nasty automatic engine off. It was pouring fluid all over my floor, so I hurried up and stuck the axle stub out of the half shaft into it. Doesn't sit in very well, but at least stopped the bleeding. And now we can start assessing what all needs to be done to this engine in order for it to go into that car. I do know obviously I have to put a new flywheel and clutch on this here engine, but I fear that it needs some internal work. I'm thinking I might just pull the head off of it and inspect it anyways. It's probably a good idea to do certain things like that before I go and put the engine in. That is a lot of work just to have to pull it back out or have to pull it back apart. I thank you for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed today's video, which was essentially just a little how-to on how to pull a manual trans off an engine versus how to pull an automatic. They are a little bit different. They both have their joys. It's been a fun one. It's been a greasy one, but it ain't been real fun, that's for sure. If you liked today's video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Hell, if you like the channel, make sure to give it a subscribe. That way you stay up to date with everything. If you got a good name for this car, I'd like to hear it. Please comment below. That's all I have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. And as always, thank you for joining me. And don't forget, go fast, don't break it.